Thursday. I am so glad that you are here. When we were together last time, we were talking about my skewed view of what God was, that he was this judge up in heaven waiting to strike me down. Well, today I want to talk a little bit about trust. And how do you learn how to trust somebody? How do you learn how to trust God? Well, when you are learning how to trust a person, you spend time with them. You ask them questions, they ask you questions, you get to know each other. Well, that's kind of how it is with God too. So you might ask me, well, then how do you know when you're really hearing from God? Because it's one thing for me to talk to God, but it's another thing for me to hear God. And how do I know if I'm hearing from him? Well, there are three main lighthouse points, as my pastor likes to say, that show you whether or not they're harbor lights, sorry. He calls them 3 harbor lights. And when they all line up, then you know that you're hearing from God and you're hearing correctly. So the first one is that it doesn't go against the Bible. That's very important. God is not going to sit here and tell you to murder somebody. God is not going to sit here and tell you to gossip about somebody. God is not going to sit here and tell you to have an extramarital affair. That's not God. So don't listen to that voice. The next is a rhema word, getting a rhema word, and I'll explain that in just a couple of minutes. And the third is a Christian mentor, somebody that you trust, somebody that you know follows God and hears from God themselves regularly, someone that has a relationship with you, someone that cares about you. So when you ask them and you get a rhema word from God, and it doesn't contradict anything that God says in the Bible, then you can be pretty sure that what God's telling you or what you're hearing is coming from God and not just coming from the enemy. So when I first started this journey way back, well, as I said, in 2006 is when I started asking God how to trust him. And then all these things happened in my life. And again, God did not cause those things to happen. He knew they were going to happen, and he wanted me on the journey of trusting him before that so that he could be right there with me. He wants to be with us through all of our trials and our problems. That's the God that we serve, a God that loves us unconditionally, and a God that gives us grace, and a God that wants to be there. So in 2013 or 14, God was stirring within me again. And so I started reading a book called Draw That Circle, I believe. It was from Mark Batterson. And so I started to read this book, and it was talking about a rhema word. Well, God gave me he's given me verses in the past, but like when I really started to dig in and really started to grow my relationship with him, this is what I consider the first verse that God ever gave me. And so it's Exodus 14, 13 and 14, and I want to read it to you. It says, "And Moses said to the people, 'Do not be afraid. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will accomplish for you today. For the Egyptians whom you see today, you shall see again no more forever. The Lord will fight for you. You only need to be still.'" I started circling our house, saying that verse over and over and over again every single day. And it is amazing. When I would say the Egyptians that you see today, you will see no more, I started naming off the things in my house and the things in my life that we needed gone, that we needed to not be here. And then the Lord will fight for you. You only need to be still. Those were such comforting words for me, because that time period in our life, I needed to see God in action, and I needed to see some answers, and I needed to know that he was there. And I'll tell you what, he showed up, and he still uses this verse with me today. I'm dealing with a situation right now, and I reminded him just yesterday. I said, "God, you promised that you would fight for me. I only need to be still. I want to walk in your wisdom. I don't want to go off on my own and make these reckless decisions and then regret my testimony, regret my witness, regret how it could ruin relationships in my life. So I need you to fight for me. This is where I'm at. This is the problem that I'm facing. And I need to know how you want me to handle this. And I'll do it your way, because I've learned how to trust him." So when you're starting this trust journey with God, you need to, it's important to start small. It's okay to start small, because I know when I first met my husband, I didn't trust him enough to marry him the next day. That took time. That took a relationship. And it can be that way with God. And you know what? Finding that relationship with him and growing in that relationship with him is so exciting. So come back next week, or on Thursday, next week. Come back next Tuesday. And we're going to talk again about how to start small. What kind of things that you can talk to God about and how he answers in amazing and sometimes funny ways. So if you are interested in finding out more about Jesus in the Everyday membership, so you can get more encouragement 365 days a year directly in your inbox, head over to SherrySwalwell.com, CHERISWALWELL.com, and click on the Jesus in the Everyday link. That will show you how to join the membership, and I will be so glad that you're there. If you want weekly encouragement, click on the Cheer Up Podcast link, and you can get weekly encouragement, a podcast every Wednesday, or a new podcast every Wednesday. The 4 series, the first book in the 4 different series, are still on sale for 99 cents, the ebook version. Here's the Jesus Relationship, Not Religion series, Moments with Jesus series, the Parenting series, the Freedom series, and the Adventure series. If you liked this video, click like. If you want to subscribe, hit the subscribe button, and hit the bell if you want notifications for anytime that there's a new video uploaded. Have a great weekend. I will see you next Tuesday.